Very good morning to everybody, and namaste and vanakkam, and good morning to all. Hope you're all having a lovely day today. The sun is out, so I wouldn't complain. And I think we've got some beautiful sunny days coming up. Let's hope for the best. Let's keep our fingers crossed, even though there's some rain here. We're having a decent weather, so I'm not going to complain. The weekend was very good for us. We had a lot of graduation ceremonies to attend, and both my boys have graduated, so that's some celebration that I had.
Okay, congratulations.
And thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, now I'm an empty nester, so I can take in a lot of little birds to nest in our nest now. So, but that being said, I was talking to Dr. Rao yesterday. It was very intriguing, the conversation that we had a couple weeks ago about how we are progressing with our residents at India Home, and how they're always very inquisitive about the sessions that we do for nutrition. Knowledge base is definitely very easy today, I would say, because everything is available on the internet, right? You all agree with me on that, right? जो भी आपको सवाल हो, अगर आप Google में डाल दो, तो Google देवता will give you an answer. But whether that answer is applicable to you, whether that answer is the right answer, whether the answer is actually the answer to the question that you asked, there are so many ifs and buts. And that is why I think going to the right person or the right resource person on that order is very helpful. And I'm very thankful that Dr. Rao has created that kind of platform for us to exchange dialogues, to ask questions, to discuss things that as I am learning, as you are all learning with this process of education with nutrition, trust me, I am learning so much also, because each time I look up something to present for you, it's something new that comes out, right? So each time it's very exciting and very, very, a good revelation for me, I should say. Revelation meaning that it's something that I have found out. I mean, I have a eureka moment. It's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Now I want to share this with my people. So today, what I really wanted to share, Geeta ji, aap share kar rahe ho ki main share karu?
Whatever suits you.
Any Jeopardy game?
I have kept it ready too.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to share it because I want a few things that I want to add to my presentation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easier for me because this way, 1 second. Why am I not getting there? Pause. 1 second. I don't know why. Let me go back. Okay. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Okay. So today, what we are going to talk about is, we have discussed this over the last few sessions, where we are talking about where do we fall, short with balancing our meals. Today, if you see, nutrition is a very individualized concern, because everybody, even though we have some common factors of how we can eat our meals, whether it be lunch, dinner, or breakfast, there is something unique about everybody, the way they eat, and they have their own system. And we have discussed this over the last few sessions, where some people may not want breakfast, other people want breakfast, other people are doing intermittent fasting, they're following a diet system, or different things that they have based on their comorbidities. It could be diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, so many other factors. But besides all of that, there is a point where you can look at your plate and tell me, or tell yourself, am I eating enough for myself, or am I overeating, or am I undereating? That amount of perception and that amount of intuitive power, I should say, should definitely be something that we need to pay attention to. And that is why it is so important. There is, when my grandfather used to eat his meals, there will be absolute silence, means there will be no talking whatsoever. And I used to wonder why he's so strict. I used to be upset with him because he's like, nobody should talk, nobody should utter a word. But that really matters, because then your focus is completely, just like if you are having a meeting and you are talking to a conference, in a conference, and you're talking to people, you don't want any distractions. You want a very quiet environment. Similarly, for our food, I don't think we give enough credit for that. But our food is the main fuel that we put into our system. And the main ingredients that go into that food is what's making us function 24/7. And many times we end up eating the wrong foods, we end up eating the wrong times, we end up eating the wrong quantities. And so it's a constant process, right? We can't be perfect every day. We are going to probably kind of mess up and have a few glitches as we eat. So today I thought we'll discuss about the balanced plate. The balanced plate meaning what is balanced for me may not be balanced for another person. So before I start any further, I know I've displayed a huge bhandar of foods for you, one on the thali style and one on the typical South Indian style, which is actually where they serve in the good old traditional way of serving. But if you actually look at these portion sizes, everybody show me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Do you think it is a balanced portion or not a balanced portion yet? I'm going to first look at all of you and see if I'm able to see you all. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up. Okay. A few of you are thumbs up. Okay. Let me see. I'm not able to see everybody. Geeta ji, what are they saying? You should tell me. Are they all saying thumbs up or thumbs down?
Most of the cameras are off, and whatever I'm seeing, they're like doing thumbs up.
Oh, they're doing thumbs up. Okay, so they all love it. They love the food that is displayed here. Guys, I hope you've had your breakfast, and I hope I'm not making you hungry here, because this is just a display of food. We can probably, one day we should all definitely have a good meal, thali meal, maybe not so exorbitant. Well, the point I'm trying to make here is the portion sizes on these foods. If you take a thali, or if you take a banana plate, I don't know if you have eaten traditionally in the places where they used to serve, not weddings today. I'm not talking about weddings today. I'm talking about weddings maybe about 25, 30 years ago, or just when they had started, serving traditionally in a banana leaf, or even when you were eating in a banana leaf during a particular occasion at your house or at a thali. There is small katoris, and there is a decent size bigger katori for the rice, and everything has its little quantity, correct? With that being said, the portion sizes today is probably one of the biggest concerns that we have, that we need to be paying attention to, where we don't pay attention to how much we should eat, rather, or what all we should eat. Rather, we end up eating more of one quantity, less of the other quantity, and we end up not having a balanced diet. So here, I was looking up this really cute little thali that was actually recommended for a sedentary woman, saying that not to discount work of that a woman does, but an average woman, that she does the household chores and she is a home manager and she's able to take care of everything in the household. This would be a typical balanced plate for a North Indian type of food. It could be a dal or a sambar, or it could be a piece of meat. It could be a small salad, a vegetable, maybe about a cup, and then rice about 1 cup altogether I'm talking about, and chapati maybe 1.5 pieces. This would be an average meal. Now, this would differ for every single person, whether it is a child, whether it is an adult, whether it is a senior, whether it is a man or a woman, depending on their physical activities, depending on what all they eat through the day, and also including the nutritional factors that you have to take into account. So here, what I wanted to share was, most important, you need to remember, we have spoken about this, we have harped about this many different ways, but I just want to repeat it to ourselves, reiterate it to ourselves, ki when we actually plan a meal, that we are able to look at our plate not our neighbor's plate, but our plate, and decide that whether we are eating it right or wrong. Generally, whenever I eat at a restaurant or if I eat with friends and stuff, they'll say, oh, you're a dietitian. I'm hoping that you should be eating the right quantity. So let me check your plate. But for my constitution and for my build and for my nutritional needs, I may be eating very differently from what my neighbor is eating or from what my friend is eating. So not always following somebody else's guidelines on nutrition is going to be very helpful. You can certainly follow a basic guideline, but never take it with a grain of salt where it really, whether it's applicable to you on a regular basis. So grains, starchy vegetables, at least 5 servings totally. For the whole day's meal, you want to have at least 5 servings. The 5 servings can be 1 chapati, 2 chapatis, half a cup of rice. It can be 1 slice of bread. It can be quinoa. It can be pasta. It can be cereal, whatever you call it, but it is 5 servings. Fruits, it's anywhere between 2 servings. So now this we're talking about a lunch meal, right? So this is average. Doesn't mean everybody we are talking to today in this forum even will be eating 5 servings. 2 servings of fruits is an average. The total servings is about 5 to 9 servings. It doesn't mean everybody needs to eat 9 servings of fruits and vegetables. Seeds and nuts, if you are more vegetarian, then you can probably get more protein from there. And also 4 servings of vegetables, and then beans and lentils, which is also a serving of your protein you can get. But I'm not included dairy here. Some of you can get an alternative for dairy, but anywhere between 2 to 3 servings of dairy is very important. Now, what does a thali meal consist of? I'm going to be very specific about what all we have in our thali meal. It has a grain, it has lentils, it has vegetables, it has a condiment or like something which has got a combination of your spices and herbs, which actually gives you a lot of the micronutrients. It can have a raita, which has actually got your dairy there, pickles, which has got your probiotic, and a papadam, which is the papad, which you have, which definitely you want to be careful about including that these days, especially if it's a processed product, because of the intake of salt in there. But there are products that you will get, homemade products that you could get, and I think we have discussed this in the past too, that you can make those, like the ones that you've got, the fryams or the homemade dehydrated products. Like in South, we make something called vadam. I don't know what it is called in the North. If somebody who knows about it can probably spell it out for me. Like we actually during summer season, we will take a whole big sheet and then we'll put different types of, like we make it with rice flour, we make it with urad flour, we make it with sabudana, we make it with different types, and then you dehydrate it completely. The water is taken out and then you can use it for frying. These products can also be used at home. Anybody who does it in the North who can explain or give a different name to it? Ji, unmute yourself, Ji.
Yes, I think it's like khicha. We make of rice, lumps of rice, or flat, and then you fry it when they are dry. So
it's called khicha. Is it khicha?
Yeah.
Okay, khicha. Awesome.
Or papdi.
Okay. Yeah. And even vadi. Okay. Yeah, vadi also.
Khicha, vadi, papdi. So these are all the other names.
Sarevada, we call sarevada.
Oh, okay. So vada is there. So we call it vadam and you call it sarevada. So not too different. Okay. So this time around, when I was in India, I was looking at the innovation that they've created with some of these products. They have not only become very innovative in terms of adding a lot of the spices, which are actually good for your body, a lot of the condiments that are good for your body, but they've also made it more of a probiotic. So even though you call it as a dehydrated product, because it has got, they add, some amount of dahi in it to make it, like, I don't know if you know about these lotus leaves, the stem of the lotus leaf. They actually, not the patra leaves, I'm talking the stem of the lotus leaf. They dehydrate it and we call it tamara karang. It is actually called, it is high in fiber and it is actually very tasty, especially when you have it with dahi chawal. Anything like that you guys eat? Please unmute yourself.
We call kamal fool. Kamal
Yes.
ka fool.
Kamal fool.
Kamal kakadi, like we call it. Yes, we eat a lot, and curries and
Kamal kakadi. So
yes,
do you eat it raw or do you eat it dry?
No, we dried also, and we make vegetables also with fresh.
Fantastic.
You have to cook it.
Yeah, can you please, Geeta ji, if you can actually make a note of these, or if one of you please, I don't have the names in front of me, whoever, I think Neeta ji or whoever who's spoke up, please put it in your messages in the chat box, because I would like to take these names and also compile them in our presentation when you have said something. So please put it in the chat box. The reason I bring this up is we don't realize that our own foods, some of our native foods, has so many great value base in it, so many wonderful values in it, that when we are westernizing our food to a great extent, or when we come to another country, or when we are adapting habits of another country, we may tend to forget those, or probably put it behind saying that, I don't know if that is really of value. But today, when I go back to my roots, and when I go back to what I have been grown up with and what I've eaten with, I see that a lot of the foods that I've grown up with, that I've eaten, is the best, that agrees with me on a regular basis. And I'm sure you all agree with it also. On a regular basis, we can eat all the pasta, we can eat all the pizza, we can eat all the fries, we can eat all the McDonald's, Taco Bells, everything. But certain foods that is unique to your growing up, certain food that brings you back to your roots, your identity, those are very important. And the reason I want to drive this message home is that going back to those habits of eating may actually put us in a better place in terms of nutritional adequacy, getting all our nutrients, because we have a very well-balanced meal. It's just that we need to replace the quantities of how much we eat and stop indulging in other foods while we eat our foods. We can't be the master of all and, the jack of all and the master of none. So what I'm trying to convey here is, maybe once, if you are doing any other foods like a pizza, or if you are doing a pasta, or if you are doing a quinoa salad, or if you are doing a chili, or if you are doing a salad, which is a very, not completely our forte. We don't generally eat salads. We eat more raw vegetables. We probably eat it as a in kakadi and stuff like that. We put it in a raita and have it. But as long as you're not completely discounting your identity of the foods that you grew up with, that is very important, is what I want to drive home the message today. The reason I say that is because, especially some of these foods that you serve in the thali, in the traditional thali, or in the traditional banana leaf, the way it is served, the quantity, the type of ingredients, the amount of food, the variety of food, and the wholesomeness of the food pretty much completes your meal each time. So if you're able to come back to bringing those, roots, those thoughts back, I think that's definitely going to be very helpful. So here, I had read an article, I don't know how many of you follow this really interesting perspective by a dietitian called Rujuta. She's very famous in India, and she does a lot of research, and she swears by going back to your roots and saying, people say don't eat rice, people say don't eat sugar, people say don't eat ghee, people say don't eat coconuts, people say don't eat coconut oil. But guys, that's what we have grown up with. So what I'm trying to get at is, as long as you are able to curtail that to the portion sizes that is fit for you. And that is how we used to eat. Our forefathers, they started eating after sunrise and they would stop eating after sunset. So if you're able to bring that perspective back in our eating habits, you are definitely going to have a more balanced meal. You're definitely going to be able to include a lot of the forbidden foods. And as much as I love the Western medicine, and I have been trained in the Western medicine, or I have come to this country and learned about nutrition in a different perspective, I do respect a lot of the roots of where I have come from. the idea here is that when you have grown up eating ghee with your rice, when you've grown up eating a little bit of sugar in your coffee, or you have palm sugar in your coffee, or if you have grown up eating coconut oil, or if you have grown up eating certain foods, do not eliminate it, because the research is going to constantly keep telling you that this may be right or this may be wrong. For almost 20 years, coconut oil was completely banned from the United States, or not even talked about, or completely taken away, because they said it is a saturated fat. But today, if you go to Costco, you'll see tubs and tubs of coconut oil sitting there. What I'm trying to convey here is research is constantly going to be changing. You can be cautious, you can be aware. For example, one big culprit in our food was the dalda or the Crisco. They found out universally that Crisco was concerning, it's a big problem because it was made out of an artificial fat. They imitated the saturated fat and they added something to it. But some of these natural products that you eat, if you are able to eat it in the right quantity, the right amounts, and diversify your meal, then you are definitely not going to be at a position where you will be compromised with your nutrition. So back to basics is our theme today. Including ghee, including kokum, including banana, kaju. Kaju is another big culprit. You know, they say kaju has got cholesterol. Kaju bahut khane se your cholesterol will go up. Remember that cholesterol is an animal product. There is not cholesterol directly in any of the plant foods. There are ingredients which increases your cholesterol, though. That you need to understand. So any product that has got more saturated fat. For example, the composition in kaju compared to almonds, kaju has got a little bit of more of saturated fat. But that being said, kaju has also got a lot of other good properties that you can get from it, where you may not get it from the other oil, the nuts and seeds. So being precise on your quantity, maybe eating like less than a handful, or maybe eating about 6 pieces of nuts or 3 pieces of nuts is not going to hurt. But that doesn't mean that we sit down with a whole box. Lalita ne kaha ki khaju kha lo, to pura salt ka ek dibba kha lo. Nahin, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
responsible.
right.
So what I'm trying to get here is that our food is very individualized, just like our thoughts, just like as people, 5 fingers are not all the same. We are all very individualized. Our food also going into our system is very individualized. Yes, you can take the goodness of all the foods that come out. They talk about superfoods, they talk about probiotics, they talk about all of the wonderful things. But there has been certain foods you have grown up eating. Do not completely eliminate that and change it completely to something different. Look at how you can modify within what you're eating, right? So, and even habits break hard. So let's say if you are a rice eater for 30 years and then you suddenly switch to something else, it is important that you switch slowly, because your body is also going to be adapting to that, right? So here it was a very interesting thing that I wanted to share. And it's a very basic thing, but yet a very important thing. In the 6 tastes of Ayurveda, it talks about Madhura, which is sweet, Amla, which is salt, Lavana, which is sour, Khattu, which is bitter, Tikka, which is, Khattu, which is pungent, sorry, and Tikta, which is bitter, and Kashya, which is astringent. This I thought was a very, very interesting, combination of what our forefathers have worked on. And they have so well put this together. And all these taste things and everything, now they're talking about you have to give palate all these different tastes. We used to start, I remember when children were really little, I don't know if that is a customary in some of your cultures still, but when they were little, when they were about 6 months old, there used to be different nuts or different, they call those condiments or seeds, where they used to put it in a little chandan ka pela, and then they used to like mix it with a little bit of milk and put it in the mouth of the child. This is to help him enable her or him the different types of taste. So usme खट्टा होता है, मीठा होता है, astringent होता है, bitter होता है. There is all types of taste that happens. And then you can see the expression of the child's face. You know, when you give him the salty food, he'll go like this first time, or when you give him something sour. These are given for a purpose because our tongue has got the palate to engage with all these different tastes. So that is why variety is very important. And that is why I stress upon this. Please pay attention to this rather than just looking at, am I getting all the carbohydrates that I need? Am I getting all the protein that I need? If you start looking into more details about, and yes, it is work, but what are we living for? We are living to stay healthy. And how are we going to stay healthy? One of the ways is what we put into our system, what we eat. And that is a very integral part of our living. So yes, it is important that you pay attention to what you eat, and taking some time to prepare your meals, taking some time to look at your food and not engage in conversations which is going to be disturbing, or looking at TV or looking at the phone, and eating is probably definitely going to make you more enabling in terms of getting a balanced food. And then finally, what I wanted to share was, I'm going to actually stop sharing here. This is the last reference sheet that I wanted to share, and I'm actually going to start working with all of you because we still have a good 25 to 30 minutes. I am going to ask you questions, probe questions like last time, and going to prepare different types of meals for heart disease, for diabetes, for all kinds of memory concerns, and also for more strength and muscle strength. So we are going to do some of these. We'll see how far we get. But the reason I wanted to share this with you for the references, please everybody note that these references, and I'm going to share something else with you also. These references are actually very, very useful. And I will share the screen to show you what this book looks like. This is actually made by the RP Association. It is an Indian food guide, which is made by the American Associations of Physicians of Indian origin. And it gives you a guide for nutrition, health, and diabetes. Excuse me. This is actually a PDF document. तो आपको ये reference जो है, आप अगर वो reference में click करें, you will be able to directly get access to this. So this book, it has probably not been renewed, or it has not been updated in a while, but I use this as my Bible, especially when I educate, because a lot of it that has been used here has been very well researched and put together. But I want you to go and look at the aspects of mainly how they talk about the type of foods or the type of diseases that is prevalent in our populations. What type of changes do you need to make? Some of the diabetes guidelines, or some of the guidelines for blood pressure and everything may be a little different. For example, HbA1c less than 6.2 or 6.1 is actually the guideline now. So don't quote me on those numbers, but you definitely want to ask your doctor about that. Mainly what I want you to pay attention to is, if you scroll down, if you look at the aspects of food here, they give you a good chart of nutritional guidance with all the food allowances and the nutritional labels on these. So for example, renal diet, Asian diet mein kaise hota hai? What can you include, right? You can also include all the type of foods that you can include here, and what type of foods you should not include here, right? And this is actually almost, the best Bible for you, for Asian Indians, especially when you want to follow for specific disease conditions. And then they also have a diabetes guideline. They have a hypertension guideline. So please, aram se zara dekh lo, take your time, go over it. They have a list of all the vegetables that we eat, what the names are, what the Indian names are, and then the analogs for it in terms of meat analogs, how much it is, amount of sodium that is there in certain foods. Also, it gives you a good chart of, the Bengali diets, the Odia diet. So it's a very comprehensive book. I have used it for a long time with my clients and with my, patients. and it gives you a good guidance. So I would ask you to read through this. It is a PDF document. Agar aapko chahiye, to you can also buy it in the stores, but I don't think it is available in the regular stores. You may have to contact the American Associations of the Physician's Assistant and get a copy of it. So the reason I wanted to share this was, just to give you an idea as to what there is out there in terms of resources. The other thing I wanted to also share, I'm going to minimize this and share one more document, which is, am I still sharing, Geeta ji?
No, you closed it.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I don't know why I'm not able to share anymore. Okay, yeah, here. I wanted to share this with you. And this is actually a heart healthy eating Asian guideline. It gives you, in a crux, it gives you what all you can eat for a heart healthy diet and why following a heart healthy pattern is important and what are the things that you can eat. Again, I would do all of these references I have given you in that the last chart or the presentation, and Geeta ji will be sharing it with you. So now what I'm going to do is, Geeta ji, can you be my helper in terms of writing things down?
Yes, sure. Give me a second.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to open up the screen here and see. Okay. If you want to turn your videos on, you can. And if you, while you're talking, especially, it would be nice to see you and then hear you out. So what I am going to do now is, this is more like an activity that we are going to work on. And I'm also going to make notes as we talk. But just let's imagine that we have a diabetic patient now in front of us, and we are going to make a meal for her, and she is, let's assume she is slightly overweight. She is living in, she's living with her children, or she is living with a, assisted living facility, partly both of which, and she is not making her own meals. So let's say she has a choice of 2 cups of pasta. She has a choice of bhakra roti. She has a choice of a half a cup of rice, dal, and some vegetable. And she has a choice of oatmeal that she has to eat. Now, out of all of these choices, which do you think is more or which do you think is less? So let me repeat that. 2 cups of pasta, half a cup of rice, cooked rice, 2 bajra rotis, half a cup of oatmeal, and let's do, I think that should be good enough. So who's going to give me an answer? Which do you think would be a better choice for our client who is diabetic and she is taking insulin once in a while, or she's taking it once a day? What do you think would be a better choice for her? I do have Ranjanji. Ranjanji, please unmute yourself and you can give me an answer.
I missed the question. Sorry, Lalita ji.
You missed the question. Okay, let me repeat this again. We are going to create a meal plan, or we are going to figure out the choices. This cannot be the ideal choice, but we are going to give, maybe this is a better choice. We are going to give choices to a diabetic lady who is on average anywhere between 60 to 65 years old. Okay. And she has got insulin dependent diabetes. She takes insulin once a day. She is living in an assisted living facility where she also visits her children once in a while. So maybe twice a week she visits her children, and then she is living in an assisted living. She has a choice of eating either 2 cups of pasta. Again, please remember that. 2 cups of pasta, 2 bhajra rotis, half a cup of oatmeal, and
half cup rice.
Half a cup of rice. Half a cup of rice. 4 things. Okay. You're going to tell me For example, if we are taking the first choice that I talk about, 2 cups of cooked pasta. Do you think, and this lady is slightly overweight, and let's say she is anywhere between 170 to 180 pounds. Do you think eating the 2 cups of pasta as a single meal is a good choice for her? If yes, why? If no, why? Who's going to give me an answer?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. So, Pratibha ji, why do you say no?
Pasta, usually small portion is good for the diabetes. And in pasta, there is sugar, right? Every meal, every food has a sugar, a little bit, right? Natural or added in process. That's why portion control is good. Like 1 cup is good, I think. I don't know. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you are definitely right with your perspective. I think the guidelines and the fundamentals, you've certainly nailed it. Like I said, the portion size is absolutely critical. When you are eating 2 cups of pasta, right, you are talking about more than 50 grams of carbohydrate in one meal. Instead, if that 50 grams can be distributed with maybe half a cup of pasta or a third a cup of pasta, maybe a vegetable to go with it and a salad to go with it, that would be a better combination. So yes, you are right about the fact that as a diabetic, because it has sugar, and sugar is the culprit or the concern. Anything you eat is going to convert to sugar. That is regardless, right? But with pasta as a food, it has got more carbohydrates compared to the other food choices. For example, if I use the bhakra roti, the 2 bhakra rotis, can somebody give me a reason why I would say 1 bhakra roti and maybe 1/3 cup of pasta would be a better choice? Why do you think so?
Bakra roti. Bakra roti is better.
Bakra, yeah.
Better.
Did I say that right? Did I say the name right? Bakra roti?
Yes, bakra roti is better.
Okay.
We call
Yeah.
bajra.
Bajra roti.
Bajra. Okay, yeah,
Bajra.
bajra. So why do you think, Madhuji, since you have prompted the answer, why do you think bajra roti would be a good choice for her?
Because the grain bajra doesn't have that much sugar as pasta would have.
Okay. And do you think it also has one more ingredient which probably will help her to reduce the sugar?
I don't know. There is something
can
in
I answer
bajra.
Yes,
Yeah, can you
Pramodini,
please? I don't know.
I think it has got gluten. It is gluten free. Bajra is
very
gluten
good.
free.
Thank you very
That
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is a very good observation. Thank you so much. It is gluten free. And Rita ji, you have raised your hand. Do you want to give a comment? And then I'll talk after you share your information.
I think the combination of oatmeal and bajra roti is much better than
awesome.
any
I
other
like
choice.
I like your combination too. And would you allow her to take some walnuts or maybe a little bit of milk in her oatmeal? Is she allowed that?
I don't know about the milk, whole milk. I think fat-free milk is much better choice.
Okay.
And what else you asked me?
I asked you if she can put a few nuts in there, walnuts in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Few.
Okay.
Doesn't
awesome.
mean too much.
My God, all you women are very, very strong women out there. Huh? You don't allow your diabetics to get sick. I like this. I really like this.
With the with the oatmeal, you can add like blueberries and other berries because they're much healthier for the diabetic person.
Yeah, berry is better.
Thank you so much, Ushaji. I can see the nutrition speak her wisdom. Thank you so much for that. Blueberries or any of these berries, we have talked about this in the past, guys. So the idea, again, the reason why I kind of extrapolated the number for the pasta and gave everything else at a smaller quantity was this country in United States, we are still very carboholic. We consume big portion sizes. I don't know if you all know it, but our tummies have all grown in sizes. When we came to this country, maybe about 20, 40 years ago, we used to eat much smaller sizes, smaller portions. We are not able to complete portions when we eat in restaurants today. And there are more conscientious meals that are served today in restaurants, but there are still meals that is served with over portions. And it's almost like a gratification that you got your money's worth, not realizing that eating that whole thing at one time is going to definitely cause you a lot of trouble. So my idea here for giving a guideline for this diabetic patient is, number one, he or she needs to pay attention to the carbohydrate count. She needs to make sure that she distributes her carbohydrates to all other carbohydrates. Carbohydrate which has got fiber, carbohydrate which has got antioxidants, carbohydrates which has got a lot of the vitamins and minerals. So because her biggest concern is with carbohydrates, she needs to be paying attention that she doesn't feed it all out of pasta. That was the whole idea there, right? That's why I said 2 cups. Okay. Now, how many men do we have in the session today? I want more men to be giving answers. Kya ho raha hai? This is like become a very women-dominated group today. What happened? Huh? What is going on, guys? I need
always control man.
I know that, but we don't want to make it very obvious. Okay, who do we have today here amongst us? I saw Kishanji in the beginning. Did he leave us already?
Yeah, I don't see Kishanji. I see only Dr. Rao men here.
Dr. Rao, I think you're going to be. I think you're going to be helping us now, because this is a question for. I'm going to put the person who's our client is as a man. So this man, he is 70 years old.
Oh my God.
What is that?
आराम से लगता है शांत बच्चा है. Oh my God. नहीं शांत है ये बच्चा. रात को तूफान है.
Sorry.
That was disturbance. That was disturbance. I think they were talking something. Yeah.
So Dr. Rao, we have a 70-year-old gentleman here. He is a yoga teacher.
Food
He's
is
very
nutrient.
fit, and he is he requires some extra protein in his diet, and he consumes anywhere between 70 to 80 grams of protein a day, and he is looking for a good source of protein for dinner. So we are going to first ask Dr. Rao. I know he's the educated wise man here who will give us a lot of tipnees on that. But besides that, we're also going to ask all the ladies, because I know you also have a lot of wonderful answers. So Dr. Rao, if you are going to feed this man who's 70 years old, he's a yoga teacher, he's extremely fit, he's looking for a good source of protein, what is the choice that you would give him for dinner for protein?
I think he's not there in the seat.
Oh, he's not in the seat. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And I see one another man, Chandra Kumar. I don't know like whether
Lentil.
Lentils. Okay, Pratibha ji wants to feed our man lentils. Okay. How much lentils will you feed him?
One small katori. One bowl.
One small katori. But remember, our gentleman here requires 70 to 80 grams of protein a day.
But then
small katori ke hisab se. Dr. Rao, you're back.
Sit down. Then almond. Then almond.
I think Dr. Rao is back. Yeah. He's here.
Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about almond, pistachio, and what else? Walnuts. So are you going to make some, are you going to give him a handful of nuts too with the lentils?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let's make this a little bit more clear. So suppose I want this gentleman to be eating anywhere from 21 to 30 grams of protein. Half a cup of lentils, cooked lentils, will give him 7 grams. A handful of nuts, only 7 grams. One handful of nuts will give him another 7 grams. That's 14 grams. This gentleman needs 30 grams. Dr. Rao, we were asking what would the men take if he was a 70-year-old man and he's a very fit guy, he's a hatta-katta guy, and he's doing yoga every day. And he needs approximately 30 grams of protein. What would your choice for protein be for him?
I'll wait for 6 more years and take your advice and tell them.
That means you
That
are
was an easy answer. That was an easy getaway. That was an easy getaway. But my dear ladies and my dear respected, residents, what I'm trying to get here is that the amount of protein that you get when you get it out of animal protein, it is more concentrated because
yogurt.
You can give him yogurt. Yes. So you can give him a combination of yogurt. If he's a vegetarian, you can give him a combination of yogurt. You can give him some nuts. You can give him maybe a cup of lentils. Okay. As long as he doesn't have any GI issues, you can give him a cup of lentils and that'll suffice his 30 grams of protein. And if he is a non-vegetarian, he could eat the size of a inner of your palm, about 3 ounces of protein. 3 ounces of fish or chicken or meat will be 21 grams of protein. So the difference you see here is why people, especially in the Western world, they're consuming more meat. It's all about the protein that they get, is because they have not been introduced as much to the type of foods that we have been introduced with, lentils and dals and other things. But they are getting there. But if you look at the majority of the consumption of protein in the Western world, it's mainly from animal products. Doesn't mean that you cannot have protein from all the plant foods. It is the combinations that you need, right? So half cup of lentil may not be sufficient for our 70-year-old man who is doing yoga, who's very to keep a smile. We need a for him. We need to provide him at least 1 cup of lentil, maybe a half a cup of yogurt or a cup of yogurt, and probably like Pratibha ji was saying, we could give him a handful of nuts also. So that's a good combination. Okay, now let's say
Only vegetarian. What is your advice for more protein?
For more protein. Protein comes from, if you're purely vegetarian, protein comes majority of the times from your vegetables also. A lot of protein is available in the combination of the vegetables. I won't be able to give you specifications, but there is a whole chart that Dr. Rao, do they have access to that database?
Yes, we have. So to come back to your question and the answer, yes, lentils is the first choice, but of all the lentils, we have tur dal. That is the first choice because the digestibility of tur dal is the best among all other dals or all other lentils. And therefore, a 70-year-old person with less digestive abilities should take something that is at a very high value. I'll show you all the lentils in a minute. If I can share my screen.
Sure.
Then you can experiment and see which one is digested nicely for that person. Those things can be taken up.
Sure. So I think that was a very, very critical point that Dr. Rao brought up. The GI system, each person's GI system and how they agree with lentils. I had a client who came to me who's 65 years old. All her life, she had been eating lentils, dals, and recently she had a gastroparesis surgery, which means she reduced her stomach size. And when she reduced her stomach size, they stapled the stomach. They made it smaller. Now, when she needs to consume some of these lentils, she's not able to tolerate some of these lentils because the chilka or the fiber that is available in that is sometimes very harsh on the system. So mashing it or maybe making it, liquefying it, or removing the chilka, these are things you probably have to do. So Dr. Rao has given us a fantastic database of all the different botanic names and the common names.
There are 40 lentils in the world.
Yeah, 40 of them. I love this. And they have access to this, right, Dr. Rao?
Yes, they can. I actually sent the entire 500 list sometime back to them, 500 food items
Yeah,
that we are
500 list
ready
we
to-
sent it, but is it in that one?
Yes, all these are in there, but the pictures may not be there. Now, in a month's time, we will get all the 500 with colorful pictures, English name, scientific name, and a word search so that they can search these 500 names like a game. We'll get that book to every one of them.
Awesome.
For free.
Awesome.
For free.
For free. I like that
Yes.
even better. The for free is highlighted.
Because they are with
for-
us. So we don't want to just give information and leave. We want them to be very practical. And this book with 500 food items in a month or so we'll be receiving. By July. We'll have it. It will be shipped from India. So it takes a month more to get it here. And all of you will get a copy. The first
Awesome.
copy is free. And if you want to give it to others, of course, there will be a reduced price for that.
Can I have one copy too, Dr. Rao?
Sure. You
I can
You'll
pay
be
for it.
charged double.
Lalita ji, I have a question.
Ji, boliye. Ji.
If person is very active, they need more. You mean to say?
If the person is very active, yes.
Like hatta katta, yoga karta hai.
Ji.
So they need more protein.
Definitely.
When you exercise, more protein.
Definitely. If you are exercising, if you are doing a lot of physical activity, and there are so many people who are athletes at 70, they are very active and they are very engaged with sports. And if they are doing that, if they have to keep their muscles intact, they definitely need a lot more protein.
Men need more protein or women? Is there any difference?
Definitely, there is a difference. On an average, we need 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if you are looking at men's requirement and women's requirement, today, because the world is changing in terms of the physical activities that women do, the physical activities that men do, it's slightly changed from what it used to be with our ancestors. So depending on your physical activity, women will also need probably the average amount of protein that men eat, but they also, they don't need exactly the full amount that men eat, but at different stages, they do need, more protein, especially during pregnancy, during the time of feeding the children. They do need more protein because that's what helps them have a healthy pregnancy. But in general, if you look at the requirements of protein for men and women are slightly lesser than men, but that doesn't mean all women are put or categorized in the same way. There is a spectrum of people that you're talking about. That is why I say it is individualized. So if you're physically very active, you are a muscle builder, you are an athlete, you're playing a lot of sports, then your requirement for protein for a woman could be sometimes more than an average man. You know what I'm talking about.
और एज का भी different होता है एज में.
Yes, absolutely. With age, your protein requirement is more for protecting your immunity and to maintain your muscle mass, because after a certain age, if you don't eat properly, you will start burning your own muscles and we start going down on our muscle mass. So with age, since we go down, you have to be careful about eating sufficient amount of protein. But at the same time, if you do have compromised kidney function, if you do have any kind of kidney problems, you have to be careful about the amount of protein you eat. Any other questions? We have about 5 more minutes here. So Dr. Rao has actually given us all the list of the 40 pulses with the nutrients also.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. This is lovely.
So
okay.
In your body,
somebody is trying to ask a question. I know there is a lot of disturbance there with Zoom calls. I know that.
I'm asking, if you don't have enough protein in your body, you lose muscles?
Yes, ma'am. If you do not have enough protein that you're giving your body, then your body is going to go in search of new, calories, and that comes from the muscles after a certain age.
Oh.
Burning the fat is, in effect, burning the fat is a little bit more difficult for the body. So the body will reach out to the muscle first. That's unfortunately our downside. That's why when you are older, as you grow up or go up on the chronological age, if you don't maintain skin tone, if you don't maintain muscle mass, we become what is called sarcopenic, which means we become wasted, which means we start losing our muscles. Then our immunity goes down. So in order to maintain our muscle mass, exercise is very important. It is a vicious cycle. You exercise more, you eat better. You eat better, you exercise more. You eat more, you exercise better. So it's a vicious cycle. You have to keep at it.
Question. Cashew nut is good for heart? If someone have a cholesterol, heart problem?
As long as the cashew nuts are eaten only as a snack and as a refreshment and not as a main meal, and it is not that you're taking a bowl of cashews and having that as a meal.
How many pieces we can eat?
Less than a handful at a time. And
eat walnut.
Walnuts are also good. Cashews are also good. Like I told you in the beginning, all types of nuts are good to eat, provided we do not indulge in them to a quantity level that is not recommended. So if you're going to sit down at a party and finish a whole bowl of cashews only, then you're in a little bit of then you're in a little bit of trouble there.
Is it? I have a question. Is it good to take a protein powder as a substitute if you cannot finish or cannot?
Very good question, Pramodini ji. And actually, today the world is getting to a point where we are so fast with our lifestyle. We are working multiple jobs. I, for a matter of fact, do take a formulation that has got some good tested protein powder in it. But I would be very cautious in doing so. I think I've mentioned this in the past. Adding supplements, adding any kind of formulations to your diet meals, you want to read the sources from where it comes. You want to ask a registered dietitian or a clinician or your doctor, generally, not your general physician. They may not always know everything, but talking to a dietitian or a health coach would definitely help, so they can look it up to see where the source comes from. If it is actually okay, if your kidney function is in good status, because most of these protein powders, when they are given to you in the whey form or in the casein form, whatever form they are given, the main thing you need to check is the source that it comes from and how much of it you're taking. So supplementing some of your protein from your real foods and from your other foods, yes, is definitely a good option, but that's not the only thing that you should do, because eating real food with your chewing and the way you masticate your food, you bite your food, all that is also very, very important. Otherwise, we will just end up eating all supplements, right? Just mix up everything and then drink it up. So it's very important.
Like if you're on a go,
you balance. If you're on a go,
yes, if you're going, so is it good to take something like this?
I would have to really kind of read. I don't want to quote anything.
It says 30 grams of protein, 2 grams of sugar, and 150 calories. It's from Fairlife Nutrition Plan.
Yeah, I would really have to read through it to understand a little bit more, to see who the company is, who the manufacturer is, and what type of protein ingredients is added in there, Pramodini ji. But if you have been taking it, and if you haven't seen any concerns with it, and if you have been functioning very well for the most part of it, I think it should be safe. But again, like I said, anything that you do that is supplemental, anything that you take out of, that is something which is not prescribed for you, I would certainly do that with more caution. But yes, supplements is very, very common today, that people are supplementing their foods, because today the food that we are growing, unfortunately, doesn't yield all the nutrients that it needs to have. Even if it is
True,
grown in
true,
the
very
best
true.
soil, best environment, unfortunately, we have done the damage. And, the process of how the foods are cultivated, unfortunately, in US especially, is a big concern today, because they don't give it time to, the recropping and everything. There's a lot of concerns there. But regardless, if you're able to get variety in your meal and diversity in your meal, that is very, very critical. So at least the chances of you falling short of one particular nutrient completely will not happen. Ki agar hum pure din yahi khate rahenge, then something else is going to be missing. But if you get a variety, at least the chances of you getting into that phase is less.
I have a
thank you.
question.
Thank you very much.
We have a question
Thank
in the
you.
chat.
Lalita ji, I have a question. Is jasmine rice is good?
Absolutely. It really depends on the quantity of how much you eat of the jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is nothing but infused with the jasmine scent. That's all it is. And any type of rice, whatever you're eating, as long as the quantity agrees with you in terms of managing your regular needs, it really doesn't prevent, whether it's Masuri rice. Like, for example, Dr. Rao has been, talking about high protein rice, which has got more protein in it. So that is something which is a very unique combination. If you're able to get rice that is cultivated with more protein in it, that is even better. So answering your question, whether it's jasmine rice or it's Masuri rice, or whether it's whole grain rice, or whether it's any type of rice, the quantity
very few I'm eating. But I eat 2 roti and jasmine rice. It gives carbohydrate.
Correct.
And my age is 70 up and no diabetic.
Okay.
What should I do? Because roti and rice both are carbohydrate, right?
Correct.
Gives carbohydrate.
Correct.
And I think that carbohydrate is not eating good. I mean, for food.
That is not true, Jyotsna ji. Is it, Jyotsna ji?
Yes.
Jyotsna ji, I think the impression about not eating any carbohydrates is probably not very, how do I put this? It's not probably a good impression. Carbohydrates are actually one of the main calorie consuming products in your diet. So completely eliminating carbohydrates from your food is not a good choice, because if you don't eat the rice or the chapati or the rotis or whatever, you are going to fall short in getting your calories, and you will end up eating it from more fried foods or foods that are unhealthy. So eating smaller quantities of all of the variety is a better choice than completely taking away.
I eat small rice. I eat not that much rice.
So don't skip your carbohydrates. Don't take it away from your meals. Eat smaller quantities, Jyotsna ji.
And one more, I have question.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Which wheat flour is better? Which wheat flour is better?
Which wheat flour is better? It really depends on the brand that you buy. You want to look for something that has got fiber in it, that is not overly refined, that is not completely polished and too. Sometimes they have a mixture of little bit of maida in there. So it really depends on the nutrient content. You want to look at it. There are multiple brands out there, Jyotsna ji. I cannot.
But I'm buying Swad wheat flour. I'm buying Swad wheat flour. Is it good? Yeah. Okay.
I cannot completely tell you that Swad wheat flour is good. Then I will be, penalized by somebody else who says Annapurna wheat flour is good. So I can't completely tell you that Swad wheat flour is the best.
Ashirwad is better.
All I am saying, Jyotsna is that जो भी wheat flour आप खाते हो उसमें ingredients में जाके या nutritional facts में जाके ये देखो कि उसमें कितना fiber है. अगर fiber बिल्कुल ही नहीं है, then you have to take something which has got more fiber. Somebody else had one question, one last question.
Okay,
I have a question.
Lalita ji, it took a long time. Like
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes, Rita Kohli and Neelam ji, and I have one more question from Madhu ji. Rita ji,
Regarding,
be fast. Yeah, thank you.
Regarding sprouted moong and quinoa, how much in daily diet we should take it? Are they high in fiber and protein than regular other grains?
Definitely a very good question, Rita ji. The idea of sprouting is there is more availability of amino acids, and the type of amino acids that you get from these are actually a lot more nourishing, besides the fact that it also has a lot more fiber. So during summer times is probably the best times that you could actually include sprouts, where you could put it in a sprout box or put it in a little muslin cloth and make the sprouts come out. Moong sprouts, chana sprouts, these are all the ones that grow faster. As far as consuming quinoa, I'm going to ask the expert Dr. Rao to also share a little bit of insight about quinoa. Quinoa is definitely a very, very good alternative for a lot of people who don't want to eat a lot of rice, where you could do 1:1 rice to quinoa combination. It has also got a lot of protein and a lot of fiber, and there are many varieties of quinoa and rich in antioxidants. So to answer your question, Rita ji, sprouts, if you want to eat on an average, you can have it with salad or with a matki or with a sabji. You can have about half a cup to 1 cup. If you eat more than 1 cup of sprouts, then you will feel very gassy, and it can be a little inconvenient for your GI system. As far as quinoa is concerned, as long as you're cooking it well, and there are some which has got, the harder skin that would take more longer to cook. And Dr. Rao, maybe if you can throw some light on that, please.
Which color quinoa is good?
Yeah, he's going to give you some knowledge.
If you are interested in sprouting, quinoa, when you cook it, it sprouts, it germinates.
Oh.
No other grain does it, number one. Number two, when you eat quinoa, the number of calories will be less than the grain, because when it is sprouting, it is spending energy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Thank you very much.
Dr. Rao, does it make difference which color of quinoa I cook?
Yes, sir. I mentioned the details about the white bold quinoa. Red quinoa is different. It has more other positive anthocyanins, antioxidants, but that is not consumed like rice.
So the white bold quinoa, correct, Dr. Rao?
Yes.
White bold quinoa, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, one more question, I think.
Yeah,
royal quinoa.
Neelam ji has a question. Neelam ji, please unmute yourself.
Anji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rita ji.
Neelam ji.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. I want to know if a male person has just been diagnosed with kidney stones, what particular type of foods or category he should avoid or take more of?
Very good question, Neelam ji, but you have to also find out the source of the kidney stones. Kidney stones come with different sources. There could be urea stones based, there could be stones that are based nitrate. There are so many different types.
I will tell you the source is hypothyroidism. Hypocardiotyroidism. There's a gland in the neck which is producing extra calcium, and that's the reason. So he has just been diagnosed.
So what I would suggest is anything that has got high calcium in it, whether it is dairy products or whether it is fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables have more calcium. You want to try and avoid the high calcium foods for him for a certain period of time. I don't know what kind of treatment he's taking, because calcium oxalates, these kind of stones are the ones that would actually be obstructing the kidneys. So it would be in your best interest to go back to your doctor and or to the doctor's office or the urologist who is treating you and ask him for a list of, or they would be able to give you a list of the foods or the fruits and vegetables, especially that are high in calcium, or you can look it up too. So I really don't know the size of the stone and the recurrence of the stone and everything. So if he has got a body that is already making a lot of calcium,
yeah, it is making a lot, making a lot of calcium, and they have recommended surgery to remove that gland from the neck.
So that's exactly what you need to do. After that calcium source is removed, or the extra precipitation of calcium is removed, they will slowly wean them into taking normal amount of calcium. For about 2 to 3 months, they'll say completely avoid yogurt, spinach, all the foods that are high in calcium. So you may have to go through a temporary phase of completely being careful about calcium-rich foods.
Okay. So till the surgery date is obtained, I can stop calcium for him.
Calcium-rich foods, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
We have one more last question. I think you answered for it. Still, I'm going to repeat. Our senior, she's 80 and a vegetarian. She cannot eat a lot of lentils as it gives heaviness and bloating. That then what she should eat?
Okay, the one thing that she could do, the one thing that she could do, like, I think it was Pratibha ji who had asked, or Pramodini ji who was asking about supplementing your foods. You can add a little protein powder in some of the shakes that you're having, or you can also add a little bit of, if the lentils are not agreeing with you, you can try the ones which has got lesser skin in it, and soaking some of these lentils for a longer period of time and cooking it can also help. I don't know if she's able to consume any dairy products, or if she is sensitive to dairy. There is also oatmeal, there is oat milk, there is almond milk, there is other sources of milk that she can get, from which she can also get more protein. If she is pure vegetarians, some of the fruits and vegetables, or vegetables especially, also has a lot of protein in it. So that's how she can get. But I think it is very generalized here. I'm not giving you a complete answer for that, because I need to see Madhuji to understand what type of lentils don't agree with her and what can be added. So for these things, like Dr. Rao was saying, meeting with me individually is the only way to do it. I know in a session like this, we can give you a lot of general answers, but that's not the answer for each person, because each person's condition, each person's requirements could be slightly different. So when you want to be very specific about it, then I would definitely take an individual consultation. I hope I've answered, Madhuji.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So once again, I think this was yet another very interactive session. I'm always very excited when you guys come up with questions. You show me so much excitement. Geeta ji, please tell all the men to come back. I need all the men to be there in the sessions too.
Yeah, sure. I think the weather is good. They must have gone for a walk.
Gone for a walk. Yeah, I agree with them. But tell them I miss them. Please tell them I miss them. Ladies, you did a phenomenal job. Majority of you being today ladies, I'm going to say that. Please keep asking questions. Keep learning more. I think there is no end to this, but applying this into your daily routine is most important. Knowledge base is so abundant today, but using it the right way is most important. So please keep at it, eat healthy, stay happy, and stay well. Namaste until I meet you next time.
Namaste and